devastating. The whole environment is devastated behind where they're doing this road.
At the end of the day, we only have one Bahamian passport, just like Michelle said.
People don't have any choice about it.
It's our constituency. They can hear from us. They can hear from us very shortly.
Okay, my name is Michelle Campbell. I'm actually building a home in this area, and I'm just completely devastated about what's happening. I've been to everyone who's concerned with this subdivision to try to get some information. A few months ago, I saw some people behind my property. They look like Mexican, Spanish guys doing work. So I inquired, what's happening, and then I heard that there was a road going there. So I said, well, how could there be a road? I've been back and forth to the Ministry of Works, and I mean, you're just treated like you're not even a Bahamian because you can't find out any information at all. The information that they are able to give you is very piecemeal. It's not enough to connect the dots as to what's happening. Last week I called the Minister of the Environment, and I said, Mr. DeVoe, I'd like to get a copy of the environmental report. So I want to find out what's happening with the port, and I want to know what's happening with this road that's going to be right behind my property. Oh no, Miss Campbell, you need to come in and have a look at it. But I said, Mr. DeVoe, this is over 100 pages. How could somebody come and look at it in your office? I mean, you need time to study this.
The other concern is when we drove through the property on the back stretch where the road is going to be, all the infrastructure that was in place to control the swamp is actually being filled in and paved. What infrastructure is there going to be to control the flooding? When we bought that property, we realized it was reclaimed land. We built our foundations to a certain level or height to alleviate the flooding. But what's going to happen now? Pollution, to control the noise pollution, all the other pollutions that are associated with it. Not to mention, we heard that when the harbor is finished, the traffic, the big trucks and everything will be at 2 o'clock in the morning. When are we supposed to find time to sleep? We are working people, and at some points when you come home, this is supposed to be a home of refuge, not a place where it's like a war zone. When you pass here in the evening, you get so depressed because you see that they're moving full speed ahead, and like they're not considering anything. Like Michelle said, we went asking for the environmental studies, we went asking for information, but it's like everything is so locked up and secretive. Why?
I'm Teresa Palmer. I live with my daughter just up the road, Eva from, and my grandchildren. And yes, it would be very helpful to know exactly what's going on and how it's going to affect us. We are trying to sell the house actually, and it's just we can't find out anything that's going on.
A couple of years ago, we heard that there were going to be Sanders Beach was going to be expanded in the front and allow people to park and have better access to the beach. We were all for that because, again, this is our cabbage beach compared to Paradise Island. But on the other hand, there was no mention of a road being in the back there. Had I known, I would have never invested.
These people's lifestyle is now going to be interrupted, and most importantly, I'm not satisfied that what I see happening with the extension of Arawaki to accommodate some five Bahamian families to the detriment of the whole of New Providence. I'm not sure that that's right, and I don't think it's right. I noticed that in the back there you will see that there's swamp land which is being filled in over to accommodate this road, which again is going to impact the environment. The birds and habitat, the users of the habitat are now having to flee the area. But again, we had nothing from the Minister of Environment on this. We had nothing from the Bahamas National Trust with regard to this. And again, we must at some point begin to put the interests of the Bahamian people ahead of the interests of certain groups in this country.
I understand that the port is going to be at the eastern end of Saunders Beach. I think that's going to be a disaster. I think it's going to wreck the beauty of Saunders Beach. I think it's going to have an environmental impact on the beach and to people going there. And again, we can't even get a copy of the environmental impact report to even review it in advance to say to the government, well, hey, we think it's a good idea. I mean, the government is the servant of the people, not the master. But why are we treated like we don't need to know about these things? Why are people just going ahead without even consulting with the people?
You say we're going too far. This is nonsense,
man.
You don't do that. In 2009, where's the consultation Where's the transparency?
I know so many people who've been laid off right now, and the people who are doing these roads, I know for a fact there's very little that's going to be going into the Bahamian people's accounts, because you have an Argentinian company doing the road, you have English consultants doing consulting on it. There's very little money that's actually going to be staying in the country. So I'm wondering why the government actually thinks that this is a stimulus for the economy, because it's not.